All right, man. Indiana Fever news, fresh off the press. Sophie Cunningham with a big announcement prior to potentially returning to the Indiana Fever. This is something that we definitely have to pay attention to because Sophie the Trophy, the blonde bomber, 1/3 of Tres Leches, is a key and vital part of this team. And I'm hoping and praying that the bonehead Indiana Fever front office and head coach will make the right moves to secure Caitlin Clark's right.
The moment the words left her mouth, the entire room fell silent. Sophie Cunningham had just hinted at a major turning point in her career, one that could potentially place the Indiana Fever in a difficult and uncertain position. Fans were expecting nothing more than a routine update about her knee injury, but instead she revealed a surprising statement about her future, suggesting that her time in a Fever jersey could be limited if the organization fails to respond quickly. The fearless guard is no longer waiting for opportunities to come to her. She is making bold decisions that go far beyond the basketball court, focusing on the rapid growth of her personal brand and expanding her influence outside the game. The rest of the league has taken notice, as the Fever's enforcer appears to be approaching her career with a completely new strategy, raising the stakes higher than ever for Caitlin Clark's squad.
That the bonehead Indiana Fever front office and head coach will make the right moves to secure Caitlin Clark's right teammates. It's a big deal, y'all. We got to break this thing down, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification and hype the video. As always, it would be greatly appreciated if you hype the video. Let's get into things. So, off season is underway. Moves have to be made. Decisions have to be made. And we don't need people distracted like I see Stephanie White is clearly distracted with side.
The timing of the announcement has only added more pressure for Indiana supporters. Sophie's one-year, $100,000 contract has officially expired, making her one of the most desirable free agents available. After spending 6 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury, she finally found stability and confidence in Indiana. However, the conclusion of the 2025 season turned into a frustrating and painful chapter for both the player and the team. With the WNBA introducing a new collective bargaining agreement, the league's financial structure has shifted dramatically, changing how players evaluate their futures and opportunities. Sophie now finds herself at a defining crossroads, where her success away from basketball is beginning to rival her impact on the court. Fully aware of her value, she seems determined to ensure the Fever's front office recognizes her importance before free agency officially begins.
Decisions have to be made, and we don't need people distracted like I see Stephanie White is clearly distracted with side quests and side gigs right now. I don't like it, but hey, it is what it is. Sophie Cunningham had a big time announcement. Let's take a look at it. Sophie Cunningham announces career news before 8th WNBA season, all right? Here it says, Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever had a disappointing 2025 WNBA season, which ended with a semifinal loss to the Las Vegas Aces.
To understand why her recent comments created such a strong reaction, it is important to revisit how her previous season came to an abrupt end. Sophie was averaging nearly 9 points and 4 rebounds per game while shooting an impressive 47% from the field, serving as a key piece that held the team's rotation together. Everything changed during a difficult matchup against the Connecticut Sun, when a torn MCL suddenly ended her 7th WNBA season. The injury not only sidelined her but also disrupted the momentum of a Fever team that was beginning to develop genuine championship potential. Combined with the heavy physical demands placed on Caitlin Clark, the setback ultimately forced the team to miss the postseason entirely. What once looked like a promising season finished in disappointment, leaving lingering questions about whether Sophie could return as the same explosive and impactful player.
They 1,000% would have won that WNBA title last season. I believe they would have. But hey, it is what it is. Here it says, Cunningham spent their first 6 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury before the Fever acquired her last offseason via trade. The former Missouri guard found success in Indiana, averaging 8.6 points per game on 47% shooting, 3.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists per game. But in August, Cunningham suffered a torn MCL, which ended her 7th WNBA season. And I believe that came against the Connecticut Sun, where they play dirty.
The discussion surrounding her return has become more complex because of the intense and physical style she brings to the game. Sophie Cunningham built her reputation through toughness and relentless energy, earning recognition as both a competitor and a protector on the court. She has also been viewed as the unquestioned bodyguard for the franchise's young superstar. When opponents played aggressively against Caitlin Clark, Sophie was the first to step forward and defend her teammate, showing unwavering loyalty in moments of tension. That fierce dedication is a major reason fans admire her so deeply, yet it also makes her recent announcement feel like a significant shift. Questions now remain about whether her focus is still on being the team's physical presence, or if her attention is gradually moving toward the growing opportunities waiting for her beyond basketball.
Cunningham suffered a torn MCL, which ended her 7th WNBA season. And I believe that came against the Connecticut Sun, where they play dirty. They're a bunch of low down, dirty players over there. We already know how they give it up. Okay, they ambushed and attacked Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham stepped in, and that is part of the reason why we love her. And then it just so happens that at Connecticut, another dirty play happens from Bria Hartley, and it ends Sophie Cunningham's, I believe it was versus them, where her season got injured. But I know that's when Caitlin Clark's groin got hurt again as well.
The latest headlines surrounding Sophie Cunningham centers on a major partnership that highlights her rapid rise as a global brand. She recently announced a high-profile collaboration between her popular podcast, Show Me Something, and the hospitality powerhouse Marriott Bonvoy. This is far more than a simple promotional appearance. It is a 4-episode limited series titled Live from the Bracket, launching during the peak excitement of March Madness. Project positions Sophie as a growing force in the media world rather than just an athlete. She was recently seen in New York City interacting with fans, discussing college basketball, and building anticipation for the new series. While the Indiana Fever's front office continues to evaluate her future on the court, Sophie is clearly expanding her influence and securing major opportunities away from the game.
For a massive pay raise when free agency begins next month. That's definitely something you got to pay attention to, because Sophie Cunningham is going to get a baggy bag from somewhere, and I'm hoping nobody gets out of their mind and offers her something crazy that is not even logical for the Indiana Fever to pay. And hopefully the Indiana Fever can retain Sophie Cunningham and bring her back to play with Caitlin Clark, okay? Here it says, on Thursday, Cunningham had news to share. She announced a partnership between her podcast, Show Me Something, and Marriott Bonvoy. Okay, the Fever star will host.
Her appearance in Manhattan reflected a carefully planned step in strengthening her personal brand. Sophie connected with fans by talking about travel experiences and March Madness predictions, demonstrating a natural charisma that extends well beyond basketball. She is increasingly embracing the travel and lifestyle space, a sharp contrast to the intense physical battles she faces during WNBA competition. By partnering with a global brand like Marriott, she is signaling that her value goes far beyond shooting statistics or on-court performance. She has evolved into a personality audiences want to follow, giving her significant leverage in both sports and business. If Indiana fails to reward her with a substantial contract increase, there will likely be other teams and corporate partners ready to invest heavily in her growing popularity.
Free agents are going to see Sophie Cunningham's off-the-floor success, which a large part of it is because of Caitlin Clark and her association. Let's be clear here. When she defended Caitlin Clark and attacked J.C. Sheldon in retaliation, okay, she jumped up to 1 million followers so fast. A bunch of free agents are going to see her success off the floor, and they're going to want the same for themselves. But we have to be sure, which is why I need this front office focused and paying attention, because we got to make sure these people are coming with the correct intentions.
The financial impact of her rising profile becomes even more remarkable when considering the Caitlin Clark effect. Since Sophie stepped forward to defend the rookie star and embraced a fearless role against some of the league's toughest opponents, her social media following has surged past 1 million followers. That level of reach is rare for a role player and has transformed her into a powerful marketing figure. Other free agents are paying close attention, recognizing that playing alongside Caitlin Clark can accelerate off-court opportunities and brand growth. However, this situation also presents a challenge for the Fever organization. Team must ensure it builds a roster filled with players committed to winning rather than individuals focused solely on personal promotion. The front office now faces the difficult task of identifying genuine team contributors while avoiding those who may view the franchise primarily as a platform for outside ventures.
Be sure, which is why I need this front office focused and paying attention, because we got to make sure these people are coming with the correct intentions. Unlike Dawana, the scammer Bonner, who hustled the team, unlike Natasha Howard, who wanted to come and be MVP and all of this stuff. We need people that are coming. We know you're going to reap some benefits. You're going to gain popularity. You're probably going to make some extra off the court money, etc. We need to make sure you are here for the right reasons, though. And I feel like the front office has to do a better job of that. Make no mistake about it. Sophie Cunningham.
There is growing concern among fans that the Indiana Fever's front office and head coach, Stephanie White, may be mishandling this crucial offseason. While Sophie Cunningham continues expanding her influence and building a strong media presence, many supporters feel the team's leadership appears distracted by outside commitments. Reports connecting Stephanie White to additional roles have sparked questions about whether the organization's full attention is truly focused on preparing for the 2026 season. Last year already showed how lapses in focus and questionable decisions negatively affected the team's postseason hopes. If management fails to surround Caitlin Clark with the right talent and support system, they risk wasting the prime years of a generational player. As the league grows more physical and competitive, Sophie's presence as an enforcer becomes increasingly valuable, especially in a league where rising stars are targeted night after night. Without a veteran willing to provide toughness and protection, the Fever could struggle to remain serious contenders. Sophie has always been transparent about her intentions since arriving in Indiana. She openly acknowledged that joining the team allowed her to be part of the momentum surrounding Caitlin Clark, while also growing her personal brand. However, unlike players chasing attention without results, Sophie consistently backed up her words through performance and sacrifice. She played within the system, moved the ball effectively, and committed herself fully to the team's success, even pushing through physical challenges until her MCL injury ended her season. She balanced personal growth with team loyalty, proving she could contribute both on and off the court. Now the responsibility shifts to the front office, which must act decisively once free agency begins. Fans want the organization to avoid repeating past mistakes by signing players who fail to match the team's culture, instead prioritizing those who have demonstrated commitment and resilience. Sophie Cunningham has fulfilled her role by elevating her brand, supporting her teammates, and battling through a demanding injury recovery. The focus now turns to whether the organization will match her dedication by ensuring she remains in a Fever uniform. Her recent partnership announcement may have captured headlines, but the real story will unfold when contract decisions are finalized. Discussions about her off-court success often overshadow her tactical importance to the team. She serves as a crucial floor spacer, creating room for Caitlin Clark to operate offensively and generate scoring opportunities. Without Sophie's perimeter shooting threat, opposing defenses could collapse inside and limit Indiana's offensive flow. Her efficiency, clutch shooting ability, and physical toughness make her extremely difficult to replace, which is why many believe retaining her is essential for championship aspirations. Ultimately, Sophie Cunningham represents the modern blueprint for success in women's sports. She is not waiting for recognition but actively creating opportunities and shaping her own narrative. Whether engaging with fans in major cities or working relentlessly in rehabilitation to recover from injury, she continues to move forward with clear purpose and ambition. Her podcast expansion and partnership with a global brand highlight her long-term vision and growing cultural influence. Having transitioned from a supporting role player into a widely recognized figure, she now places the decisions squarely in the Indiana Fever's hands. The organization must determine whether it is ready to invest in a player who delivers both elite performance and significant market impact before another team steps in and seizes the opportunity.